This is the furthest yet, who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being, starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non-being, Master, are you or are you not? Since he received no answer whatever, Starlight set himself to watch for non-being. He waited to see if non-being would put in an appearance. He kept his gaze fixed on the deep void, hoping to catch a glimpse of non-being. All day long he looked and he saw nothing. He listened but heard nothing. He reached out to grasp and grasped nothing. Then Starlight exclaimed at last, This is it. This is the furthest yet, who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being, starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non-being, Master, are you or are you not? Since he received no answer whatever, Starlight set himself to watch for non-being. He waited to see if non-being would put in an appearance. He kept his gaze fixed on the deep void, hoping to catch a glimpse of non-being. All day long he looked and he saw nothing. He listened but heard nothing. He reached out to grasp and grasped nothing. Then Starlight exclaimed at last, This is it. This is the furthest yet, who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being, starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non-being, Master, are you or are you not? Since he received no answer whatever, Starlight set himself to watch for non-being. He waited to see if non-being would put in an appearance. He kept his gaze fixed on the deep void, hoping to catch a glimpse of non-being. All day long he looked and he saw nothing. He listened but heard nothing. He reached out to grasp and grasped nothing. Then Starlight exclaimed at last, This is it. This is the furthest yet, who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being, starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non-being, Master, are you or are you not? Since he received no answer whatever, Starlight set himself to watch for non-being. He waited to see if non-being would put in an appearance. He kept his gaze fixed on the deep void, hoping to catch a glimpse of non-being. All day long he looked and he saw nothing. He listened but heard nothing. He reached out to grasp and grasped nothing. Then Starlight exclaimed at last, This is it. This is the furthest yet, who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being, starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non-being, Master, are you or are you not? Since he received no answer whatever, Starlight set himself to watch for non-being. He waited to see if non-being would put in an appearance. He kept his gaze fixed on the deep void, hoping to catch a glimpse of non-being. All day long he looked and he saw nothing. He listened but heard nothing. He reached out to grasp and grasped nothing. Then Starlight exclaimed at last, This is it. This is the furthest yet. Who can reach it? I can comprehend the absence of being, but who can comprehend the absence of nothing? If now on top of all this non-being is, who can comprehend it? Starlight and non-being. Starlight and non-being. Starlight asked non. From Hamas. Starlight. It is in this piece of tile. Further, it is in this turd. At this, Tung Kwao had nothing more to say, but Chuang continued. None of your questions are to the point. They are like the questions of inspectors in the market. But Chuang continued, testing the weight of pigs by prodding them in the thinnest parts. Come here, my children. If a beast big enough to swallow a wagon should leave its mountain forest, it will not escape the hunter's trap. If a fish big enough to swallow a boat lets itself be stranded by the outgoing tide, then even ants will destroy it. So birds fly high, beasts remain in trackless solitudes, keep out of sight, and fishes or turtles go deep down, down to the very bottom. The man who has some respect for his person keeps his carcass out of sight, hides himself as perfectly as he can. As for Yao and Shun, why praise such kings? What good did their morality do? They knocked a hole in the wall and let it fill up with brambles. They numbered the hairs of your head before combing them. They counted out each grain of rice before cooking the dinner. If a beast big enough to swallow a wagon should leave its mountain for... They numbered the hairs of your head before combing them. They counted out each grain of rice by cooking the dinner. What good did they do to the world with their scrupulous distinctions? If the virtuous are honored, the world will be filled with envy. If the smart man is rewarded, the world will be filled with thieves. You cannot make men good or honest by praising virtue and knowledge. Since the days of pious Yao and virtue is shun, everybody has been trying to get rich. A son will kill his father for money. A minister will murder his sovereign to satisfy his ambition. In broad daylight they rob each other. At midnight they break down walls. The root of all this was planted in the time of Yao and Shun. The branches will grow for 1,000 ages, and 1,000 ages from now men will be eating one another raw. They numbered the hairs of your head before combing them. They counted out grain of rice by cooking dinner. What good did they do to the scrupulous distinctions? The virtues will be filled with envy. The smart man is rewarded. You cannot make men good by praising virtue.
Taco Bender, what's going on? Comedian.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Nothing. I'm sitting here creating YouTube videos. What are you doing?
None of your fucking business. Now I'm just playing.
So what are you doing?
No, just starting a conversation on here. I figure this would be a good conversation starter.
What's the conversation about?
Deconstructing online theism and atheism.
You're gonna deconstruct theism and atheism?
Well, it seems to be like some sort of like Jenny Craig pyramid scheme, internet culture, abridged book of like what these things really are.
Yeah, it's like a small sample.
Right.
So what are you going to try to do for the next, couple minutes here?
Well, I'm cracking a couple of cold ones and having a couple of shots and enjoying a couple of cigarettes while I just have a general discussion about the topic up above.
Interesting. So what are your thoughts on your topic that you've created?
I think it's a caricature. I think the issue becomes I think people who represent theism and atheism, especially online, it's just a caricature. Like when you actually see the real philosophers discuss this stuff, I mean, they're never talking past each other. They understand their terms. They don't need to have semantical disagreements about definitions and words being used. And I think it's more internet culture than it is, real theism and atheism. I just think it's just there for people to throw zingers at each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is definitely like a combat zone app for, for communication. I mean, but the green bean thing is an interesting thing to discuss. I think even right at the very beginning of all conversations, if you immediately bring up the green bean, it should be something that should be, discussed because it's part of the game. And until you acknowledge the power of this, black star surrounded in a green circle, you have no real framework for what is actually happening in terms of the communication. So I just think that's something.
Are you really discussing the issue at hand if you're like mod abusing everybody and you're not open to possibilities and ideas? And usually, I think the greatest ground you can break with anybody is discussing the possibility of God, whether it be from any one of these positions, including agnosticism. And that's what we all should be doing. And I think there's this misconception of where, you think there's a line drawn in the fucking sand, and it's like Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny, and you keep doing it until someone fucking gets to the edge of the mountain, and then they fall off it. It's like fucking Looney Tunes.
Well, yeah, you're dealing, I think, with very performative people. But you never know exactly what somebody's life is like on the back end, and so I don't know. I feel like the big takeaway is like don't take this seriously. Be kind all the time because if you're kind to other people, you're kind to yourself. And so many people, I think, just drive themselves out of their own skin and make themselves crazy with their rhetoric here.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It doesn't cost you anything to be kind to somebody else. And I do realize that there's other people on the opposite end of the cell phone here, so to say. And I say, I make it perfectly clear. Am I I'll tell somebody, I am joking with you. This is satire.
Well, I do like to roast
have a serious discussion with somebody.
I think it's okay to come here and roast, though, as long as that's the intention. But you should frame everything accurately with regards to what you're actually attempting to do in your communication while you use this app. I mean, everything I do here, I film. So I'm here for one purpose, and that's to create content videos, So a lot of people here, I don't think they actually have a purpose even while they're here. And even if they have a title, there's still no real purpose. Nothing
nothing will be created after the session. So I think it's invaluable to create something every time you engage in a meditation. If you didn't actually create something during the meditation, there's nothing after the experience. Well, then I think you're a schmuck.
Oh no, I get it. Some of the performative atheism, you get some of these cringe Christians that take these very strange positions on religion, and they'll pick-pile one fucking person, and then after they exhausted all their possibilities with that one person, and a couple of smart people will be like, I'm not going to jump up there and get pick-piled, and they have nothing to talk about. And I find that to be interesting, because I don't think atheism has anything to offer culture-wise. There's not a atheist hairstyle, an atheist dance, an atheist cuisine. It's nothing it has to offer. So, like, when you get these people in the hot seat, especially the performative ones that don't understand, and I was actually shocked by this the other night. I had some people out of Andrew's room, these armchair philosophers, and they're explaining how atheism is a worldview and all this other fucking nonsense, and it's like they can't even agree on the generative norm on the general norm on what it's just a lack of fucking belief in the proposition. It's not even a fucking worldview. You have to kind of couple that with like secular humanism or utilitarianism or all these different things in order to kind of coherently root that and explain why you have a lack of belief, but essentially it's just not, it in itself is not a worldview. And I just don't know why they do this. And it's like you have these little committees of people that come together, and they redefine these things and they come to these conclusions, and then you're in a vacuum. And then essentially you get other people that have philosophy and debate skills, and they go into these rooms, and it's like, well, just because there's a democratic lynch mob in here and they all agree with each other, whatever you may have it, it's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to know any of this stuff? It's all hidden, it's all in the dark, until you start asking some questions, interviewing some shit. But essentially it's just all BS like I said, it's just all performative to a degree or another. Hi, Barbie. How you doing?
Well, the atheist is not insignificant. It's still a human being. It's still a man, meaning that person just hasn't essentially understood the information that's out there. There's just too much information out there for them to actually ingest, to get them to come back to their rational senses about where they came from, who they are, what their purpose is. But it's really also just laziness. People do not want to read books anymore or discuss what's in books, because once you start discussing a book, that's the focus of the conversation, the communication. Instead, you just have very childish people who want to pick fights with everybody or nobody. I mean, I do it, but again, I'm creating content, meaning it's like owning a beer factory. Like, I'm actually bottling a solution, a fluid of communication. But most people are just aimless communication getting bottled or not even getting bottled. You see, there's a problem on this app with angry people who come here to essentially talk about nothing. They're pathetic. They literally create nothing. They don't read anything. They just and they're not even creating any content, even with the stupid shit. So I don't know. Do you know who Kim Cutts is?
No.
She's just this ratchet ass ghetto old bitch, nasty piece of trash. But she is so funny. But she doesn't even create. She doesn't even record it. Some people think their content is so great they don't even think they need to record it. But I filmed Kim Cutts last night, just like doing her own roast of people on this app, and it's honestly hilarious. So the point is like, if you're an atheist and you are super angry, you don't get the joke, meaning that if the Big Bang is true and you are the extension of the Big Bang, you don't see any humor in that you're on this app getting angry, arguing with people, but you don't see the incredible miracle of your existence, even if you don't think there's a God. but yet you still believe in Big Bang, you're
Well, the function between all three essentially is to explore the possibility. I don't think any like person who's religious is going to sit there and essentially make an extreme positive claim here. I think everybody places their faith in organizations and places their trust in it. And essentially, the whole proposition here is to explore the possibility. Now, I think if somebody's going to explore the possibility, I mean, you can meet somebody halfway where they're at and go through the possibilities and the examples and all these things. But I think that people are really not interested in that. I think they're interested in online culture. That's why it's phrased as deconstructing online theism and atheism. You know, I see a lot of these theists on here and they make garbage arguments and they behave poorly. And then the shining example where we're supposed to get this like atheistic renaissance of the modern day,
But see, your
and
problem,
there is none.
the problem in your title by saying it's online culture is that online culture influences offline culture, and it's the message behind the offline world. Meaning, you could be engaged in all types of politics, society, or business, and have this underlying online culture veiled behind your interactions there. But that online culture is not healthy, it's toxic. So people are even masking their online toxic behavior in the real world. I mean, some people get off work and come on here and just want to do their little bullshit game, but it's not really improving their intelligence. So thus, I'm just saying, be like a book or go to the gym, and everything else is just rhetoric and political discourse.
Hold on one second, I'll be right back.
The game continues.
All right, you guys were saying?
The game continues.
Brothers, what's going on? How y'all feeling?
Feeling pretty good, man. Nothing but gumdrops and ice cream here.
Enjoying you about to enter the game.
Hey, I always appreciate a game, especially when it comes down to a thinking game, because when you're able to go into the game of the one that made it, then either way you'll get the information. So it becomes your game now. You now own the game. So you just have to you have to continue to play the game, and the more you play it, the more you understand it. And then that's when the faster you can pass the game over and over. So
What is the game?
you said, say the game again?
What is the game?
The game is the mind. The game is to play with all the minds in the world, to be able to be a part of all the minds in the world. You just have to be willing to play their game. You have to be willing to listen into their game to see if they even know how to play their own game. Sometimes you break their system just by challenging their minds. So the game of the mind to see if people really own their own game or if they're just borrowing it. Usually it's a lot of people, more than it's not. There's more people borrowing their game. They never own the game from the beginning. But
I love your perspective. Noted.
hey, do y'all hear like noise in the background?
Yep.
What does it sound like?
The game.
Oh, it sounds like a game. Just drying my hair right now, so I don't know if it was that. I don't know if it's loud or not. Jay and Comedian, what's on your mind though? What's been going on? Meaning you been getting more people on YouTube? And Jay, as far as the topic, what's on your mind based on the topic? What was been on the table? What did you build on so far based on the topic?
Nothing. I'm just deconstructing the online culture of theism and atheism. I don't even think a lot of these people, when they bring up, all these like mind independent or mind dependent facts, whether it's correlative to theism, atheism, or agnosticism, I don't think they live out their life in said way. I don't think any of these people believe their own bullshit.
Like yourself?
Yeah, I could say they don't. It's just like I said, they're born in this ignorance. So when they're born in the ignorance, they don't own what they say. They just get what they say from the world, and they just start using it. So they don't own anything about the word, like any word that come out their mouth. Hold on 1 second.
Like yourself, Jay?
No, I actually have value sets pertaining to Christianity, and I live my life by that. Now, when I put you in the hot seat, though, and I ask you, well, what are your core values? You're going to say, well, I'm undecided, or I prefer not to say, and you're a bullshitter. You just get on here and hang out and bullshit.
Can you give me a definition of bullshit?
Taking a back seat to things, observing things, and then claiming that you have nothing to offer while you're directly or indirectly offering something to it. You're just bullshitting.
Tell me, what am I indirectly bullshitting?
Well, what's your worldview?
I am the observer.
That's not a worldview.
What do you mean? Give me
Here we go with the semantical disagreements here on definitions. I mean, even if I give you a definition of that, right, you're going to say, well, I disagree with that definition, and we're going to get nowhere with it.
See, you have my mind trapped in the game. I don't agree.
No.
I don't agree or disagree with anything nobody says. I'm the...
You can either participate or you can observe down in the listener section if you want.
I am participating. You're reading me.
Okay, great. What's your worldview?
Can you give me the definition of worldview before I answer?
Go look it up on fucking Google, dumbass.
Why are you cursing? Are you getting angry?
Go look it up. If you don't know, listen, if you don't know what it is,
calm and cordial. I don't know why.
Listen, if you don't know what it is and you want to participate in these conversations, there's this thing called opening up a book or a dictionary, and then you go look at the definition of it, and then you say, okay.
Asking me questions, I'm asking you to define the question you're coming from so I can know.
Okay, great. Do you know what? Okay, great. So you don't know what a worldview is? Is that what you're telling me?
Team Level Defenses, can you give me
Do you know what a worldview is? Yes or no? It either is that you know what it is, or you don't know what it is.
I asked you to give me the definition of worldview.
Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is?
Can you give me the definition of worldview?
Do you know what it is?
Perspective?
Okay, we're going to try this one more time. It's either you know what it is or you don't.
Yeah,
so tell me which one it is.
I don't get trapped in yes no questions. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to assume that you don't know what it is. Am I right in assuming that?
Worldview in your perspective.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to go look it up for you now, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, we got Oxford Languages and Dictionary here. A particular philosophy of life or a conception of the world. Okay, great. Do you have a particular philosophy or a conception about the world?
Okay, so now we got some older people.
Do you have a particular conception or philosophy about the world?
Headphones off, kid.
Okay, what is it?
Theist and atheist and agnostic go back and forth trying to figure out over the concept, does that God exist? And I wonder if they're going to be doing this forever or have to wait until they die to figure out a conclusion.
Sorry, that's not a philosophy, and it's not a concept about the world.
Also, what is it?
I don't know what the fuck you're describing. You're just bullshitting right now.
I'm not bullshitting. I mean, what is your concept of the word? Maybe I can track.
So are you familiar with epistemology for an example?
If a beast big enough to swallow a wagon should leave its mountain forest, it will not escape the hunter's trap. If a fish big enough to swallow a boat lets itself be stranded by the outgoing tide, then even ants will destroy it. Come here, my children.
So if you please. Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big content creator one day, but I have no supporter. All of mysticism, you can even though the fire. Yeah, I've said that many, many times. I'm surprised if you've been listening to me, you haven't heard me say that. But yeah, I mean, I said that. Please don't scroll. I'm just trying.
The Chong continued, testing the knowledge wandered north.
So if you have.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big... Please don't... Please don't...